समूह संगतां नूं करतार कर रहे हैं सतगुरु जी पातशाह जी महाराज ते अपने कल्याणकारी जो दर्शन ने वो बख्श रहे हैं नाल ही नाल सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज पावन दरबार सदरे आप भी समूह संगत ने बड़ा ही रस बिना जड़ा कीर्तन है कार्य नहीं कीर्तन पढ़ाना गुरु पंजाबी है लाए कहना जो कर्म अंदर समय अंदर सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज ने कीर्तन की वड्याई की सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज ने आप जी साध संगत नूं रागी सिंहां द्वारा कीर्तन सुना करके निहाल किया है ते हुण सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज दे इस चल रहे दीवान अंदर जो कि परसों रोज तो ही ऐतवार जिस तरह दीवान लगा सीगा दोपहर का ते जिस तरह हुरनामे की जो कथा सीगी वो चली आ रही है ते कल शाम तक कल भी 7 तो 8 इसी तरह ही इसी समय जी है वो विचार जी है वो चलनी है वो की जानी है ते ये जो खास प्रोग्राम मेरे इत्थे दे गुरसिख वीरां ने जो ये लिखिया है तैयार किया है वो शायद आप जी नूं जान भी होवे मगर मैं फिर एक बार दोहरा दिया कि वो जिहड़ा प्रोग्राम रखा गया है लिखिया गया है तैयार होया एक खास जिहड़ी साडी नौजवान पीढ़ी है साडे जिहड़े बच्चे ने उन्हां लई ये प्रोग्राम जिहड़ा लिखिया गया ताकि असीं उन्हां नूं उत्साहित करके क्योंकि आम तौर पर जिहड़े साडे बच्चे ने नौजवान ने उन्हां दी इक्को एक शिकायत जिहड़ी है वो रहिंदी है कि असीं गुरुद्वारे ते जरूर जाने असीं जाके बहिंदे भी हाँ मगर सानू समझ नहीं लगती ते जे समझ नहीं लगती ते फिर जिहड़ा मन है वो किधर होर पासे अपना मनोरंजन जिहड़ा बोलदा है ते किते होर पासे जांदा क्योंकि मन का जो संकल्प है जो मन ਉਹਦੀ आदत यही है कि जिथे ਉਹਨੂੰ मनोरंजन मिलता है जिथे ਉਹਨੂੰ आनंद मिलता है मन ਜਿਹੜਾ है वो ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾਣਾ पसंद करता है कि जिस शरीर अंदर वो मन बैठा है उस शरीर ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਫਿਰ ਕਹੇਗਾ ਵੀ ਤੂੰ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਉੱਠ ਕੇ ਚੱਲ ਤੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਉਹਦਾ मनोरंजन है ਉਹਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੇ ਤੱਕ ਲੈ ਜਾਂਦਾ है शिकायत यही रहती है कि ਅਸੀਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਤੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਜਾਈਏ ਮਗਰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੇ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज ने बख्शिश की कुछ गुरसिखा सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज ने उन्होंने बख्शिया कि अगे भी दास ने यही बेनती की है कि सब तो जरूरी तो यही गल है कि असीं अपने बच्चों को अपनी मां बोली जिहड़ी है गुरमुखी ते पंजाबी जिहड़ी है उहदे नाल असीं जिथे वध तो वध उपराला करना है उन्होंने जुड़न दा क्योंकि नौबत तो चलो नहीं सी आनी चाहिए इतने तक कि साडे बच्चों को पंजाबी जिहड़ी है गुरमुखी जिहड़ी है वो समझ ना पवे नौबत नहीं सी आनी चाहिए मगर कुछ हालात ही ऐसे बन जाते हैं कई बार क्योंकि इन्होंने मुल्कों च रहते हैं कई बार हालात ऐसे हो जाते हैं कि ना चाहते हुए भी इस तरह गल हो जाती है मगर जो गुरु का सिख है उन्हें हमेशा चढ़ती कला जाना कि चढ़ती कला वाली सोच रखनी है ते हर एक चीज़ का हर मुश्किल का हल जोड़ा है तो सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज के चरणों च है ते प्राप्ति भी चरणों च होनी है सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज ने सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज कृपा करते हैं ते ओहदा जिहड़ा हल है वही है कि जो सतगुरु जी का पैगाम है जो धन श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी पातशाह महाराज का सुनेहा है वो उस भाषा च बच्चों तक पहुँचाया जाए कि जिहड़ी भाषा वो समझ जिहड़ी भाषा बच्चे साडे समझते ने उस भाषा च सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज का स्नेह जिहड़ा वो उन्हां तक पहुँचाया जाए ते इसे करके जो खास प्रोग्राम जिहड़ा है लिखिया इसे करके कि जिथे नाम दे नाल दास कोशिश जरूर करेगा मगर मकसद साडा यही हुंदा है क्योंकि जिथे सारा साल सर पंजाबी में की जाती है तो काफ़ी संगतां का लाभ उठाउंदियां ने, मगर जिहड़े उस लाभ तो थोड़े जिहे वांझे रह जाते हैं वो सिर्फ केवल भाषा के करके उन्हां लिए असीं यही सोचा सीगा कि कुछ अंग्रेजी दे विच इंग्लिश दे विच कुछ विचार जिहड़े ने वो बच्चों के नाल जरूर एक कथा रूप दे विच जे तुसीं कह लो ते असीं करन दा जिहड़ा यतन करांगे ते नाल दे नाल मैं कोशिश भी यही करांगा भी जे नाल दे नाल पंजाबी दे विच भी असीं वो कथा जिहड़ी संस्कृत भाषा दे हुकमनामे दी खैर मैं बचन अगे भी कीते ने कि कथा जिहड़ी है संस्कृत कथा नहीं कोई संस्कृत दी भाषा दे पावन वचन नहीं कर सकदा। संस्कृत दी भाषा महाराज दे अगाध बोल दे अगाधी बाणी दे अगाध स्वरूप जिहड़ी है ये अकथ कथा जिहड़ी है अकथ जिहड़ी कथी नहीं जा सकदी कोई कथा कौन करे, मगर सतगुरु की भाषा महाराज जी भी बुद्ध सतगुरु की भाषा महाराज बख्शदे ने उस अनुसार कुछ जिहड़े सतगुरु की भाषा के महावाक जिहड़े उहदे अर्थ ने जिहड़े आपके नाल साझे करन दा यतन जिहड़ा असीं जरूर करांगे ते सतगुरु की भाषा महाराज गुरु की संगत जिहड़ी है आपकी जो संगत स्वरूप हो संगत रूप हो आपकी रब का रूप आप हो ते साथ संगत दे विच कई गुणी ज्ञानी कई बहुत ही उच्ची सोच रखने वाले बड़े ही गुरमुख ते बड़े ही विद्वान जिहड़े ने बड़े नाम रसीए साथ संगत मौजूद ने ते उन्हां अगे ते जे कोई गल करनी इस तरह है जिस तरह सूरज नूं दीवे दिखाउण वाली गल है मैं साथ संगत जी को पहला ही करना तो सतगुरु जी करना तो माफी मंग लांगे सतगुरु की भाषा महाराज ऐसी बुद्ध तो है नहीं भी साथ संगत के संबोधन हो सकी मगर जिस तरह आप हुक्म करोगे असीं यतन जिहड़ा जिस तरह आप कराओगे असीं करने की कोशिश जरूर करांगे ते आओ सतगुरु की भाषा महाराज ने जिहड़ा सवेर का जो हुक्मनामा सीगा सतगुरु की भाषा महाराज ने जिस तरह बख्शिया ਉਹਦੀ कुछ विचार नहीं है शासक जी के सामने करने की कोशिश जरूर करांगे। सतनाम श्री इस पावन हुक्मनामे राही जिस तरह क्योंकि ये जड़ा हुक्मनामा सतगुरु की भाषा महाराज ने बख्शिया है just to say a few words in English is what I'm trying to explain today's order for the day, and as we've explained before the importance of a huक्मनामा in our lives because that's the only time I'd say that's the only time for one reason only because we sometimes only make that one effort, and that effort is to try and speak with our Guru and try and have a conversation and ask Guru Bhai for a blessing and take away something, because the whole purpose of us coming here is that we come empty-handed but we leave here with a treasure of Guru Bhai Maharaj's Shabad. And Shabad has always been, as an analogy, has been compared to a treasure, and a treasure that has a value so high that you cannot put a price on it as such. Such invaluable treasure of the money, just like treasure or worldly wealth makes you rich. Living in this world, it gives you a status, but having vast amounts of money has absolutely no effect on your spirituality whatsoever. It might actually take you away from God, but there are those people as well. We can't say that everyone who is rich or has a lot of money doesn't do good with it, or is away from God, away from God. Those people do some fantastic charity work as well. But if we look at money and wealth in general, so the general rule is people who tend to have a lot of money tend to be the busiest people. They are quite busy in their lives, so they don't have much time to sit down and perhaps do simran, and perhaps do litany, and perhaps do seva. So the only thing they can do is donate some of that money that they earn, and in return they feel that they have done something, and it makes them feel good about themselves, which is good. We should all be charitable and give to charity, but संत की भाषा में कहते हैं कि तुता पर्याप्ता दान ये गुरुवार दिल का मान. Now we can donate all the money we like, all the wealth we like. We have to ask ourselves that question: where did that wealth come from? Where did that money come from? Did I earn it, or was it blessed by God Himself, by Gurdwara Sahib Himself? Where does that money come from? And if we come to the conclusion that that money, it may seem like I've earned it, I worked hard for it, but nothing comes without the blessing of God, without the blessings of God. So when you reach the conclusion that all you have has been given to you by God or by who, so the money that is not yours in the first place, you return it to give to charity, then you can perhaps decide for yourself that how much good have you actually done. Having said that, not to take away some of the fantastic work some people do, but what we are talking about is your spiritual journey. How closer are you now to Vaheguru by donating thousands and millions of pounds? You may feel good about yourself for doing so, and those people you have helped with that money have a better life now, which is, like I said, a fantastic thing. But when it comes down to your own spirituality, your own journey, how close are you now to God Himself, to Vaheguru? Gurdwara tells us the only way to do that, the only way to become close, is through meditation, is through doing simran, and is that through doing nickname and part. So, Sadhguru Ki Bhasha Maharaj blesses it with an opportunity every morning to take that treasure away with us, the treasure that is inexhaustible, so it will never end. And that treasure is of wisdom. Now, wisdom, you can't put a price on wisdom. You cannot buy wisdom. Wisdom comes through the blessings. Now, there's different types of wisdom as well. Some of you who go to school or colleges, or some of you who have been to university, have acquired any type of wisdom. But the wisdom that Gurdwara Sahib Bhasha Maharaj offers is the wisdom above all those wisdoms, and the understanding of the journey of this soul, and the understanding that how and what the purpose of life is. Because that is the question that has always been around, the purpose of my life, what it is. That only comes through wisdom. And that wisdom you can't find in a book, or a person will tell you. The only way you can find that wisdom is through the Sahib Bhasha and through the Shabad. And that Shabad is given to us as an order, and which has changed many people's lives and will continue to do so. It's not probably, but I am quite confident that it has changed someone's life today. The Hukumnama. Because the Hukumnama is a word direct from your Guru, direct from Vaheguru God Himself. An order for you for the rest of the day. Now, that should really be the most important thing for the day, before you start your day, which is what the Gurdwara is. But many of us perhaps do not take it as that, and it has become perhaps a ritual where there is a Gurdwara that is displayed outside, and we read it, and then we don't actually try and understand what the message was. So what we're trying to do is trying to touch upon those words that were spoken by our true Guru, this morning. आज का जो फरमान सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज भगत रामदेव जी कई ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹਦਾ ਆਰੰਭ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੋਂ ਨਾਮ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮਾ ਹੈ ਆਰੰਭ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਪਹਿਲ ਪੂਰੀ ਕੁੰਡਰਤ ਬਣਾ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਹਮਸਾ ਸਗਲੇ ਜਨਮ ਭਈ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮਾ ਇੱਕ ਸਵਾਲ ਜਵਾਬ ਦੇ ਰੂਪ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਇਸ ਦੀ ਖੋਜ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੇ ਭਈ ਸਵਾਲ ਜਵਾਬ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਸਵਾਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਤੋਂ ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੱਲੀ ਉਹ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਸਵਾਲ ਸੀਗਾ ਤੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਵੱਲ ਜਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਸਵਾਲ ਵੱਲ ਫਿਰ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਉੱਤਰ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਗਏ ਨੇ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਦੇ ਵੱਲ ਜਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਰਾ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਮਝ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਏਗਾ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਬੜੀਆਂ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਇਹ ਐਸੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿਸ ਨਾਲ ਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਭੇਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਨਾ ਜਾਣ ਸਕਿਆ, ਇਸ ਬਾਣੀ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਭੇਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣ ਸਕਦਾ। ਇਹ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਐਸੀ ਹੈ ਭਈ ਕੋਈ ਅੱਜ ਤੱਕ ਕਹਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਸਾਰੀ ਧੰਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਮੈਂ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਸਮਝ ਲਈ ਹੈ, ਪੜ੍ਹ ਲਈ ਹੈ, ਉਹਦੇ ਹੱਥ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਮਝ ਆ ਗਿਆ, ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦਾ। ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਖਵਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਇਹਨੂੰ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਜਾਤ ਨਹੀਂ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਜੇ ਪਾਵਨ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮਾ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਆ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਰਥ ਨੇ ਇਹਦੇ 4-5 ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਸ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮੇ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਰਥ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬਾਣੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਿਸੇ ਇੱਕ ਬਖਸ਼ੇ ਚ ਬੰਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਕਿ ਹਾਂ ਮੇਰਾ ਇਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਮਤਲਬ ਉਹਦੇ ਰੂਪ ਅਨੇਕ ਨੇ ਮਗਰ ਹੈਗਾ ਸਾਰੇ ਅਨੇਕਾਂ ਰੂਪਾਂ ਚੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਹੀ ਵਰਤਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਈ ਅਰਥ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਸੋਚੀ ਦੇ ਮੁਤਾਬਕ ਇਹ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਆਤਮਕ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤਰੱਕੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਉਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹਦੇ ਅਰਥ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਸਮਝ ਆਉਣੇ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ। ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਛੋਟੇ ਹੁੰਦਿਆਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਹਾੜਾ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ 2 2 4 ਤੇ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਇੰਨੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਮਝ ਪੈ ਗਈ ਮਗਰ ਗੱਲ ਉਹੀ ਹੈ 2 2 4 ਦੀ ਸਾਂਝਾ ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਉੱਚੇ ਲੈਵਲ ਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਫਾਰਮੂਲੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਤਿਆਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਹੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਮੈਥਸ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਿਆ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਛੋਟੇ ਹੁੰਦਿਆਂ ਉਹ ਗਾਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ 2 2 4 ਤੇ 4 ਹੀ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਮਗਰ ਅੱਗੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਉਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਫਾਰਮੂਲੇ 'ਚ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ। ਜਦੋਂ ਫਾਰਮੂਲੇ 'ਚ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਉਦੋਂ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਸਮਝ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਉਹ ਥੋੜੀ ਹੋਰ ਸਾਡੀ ਐਡਵਾਂਸ ਹੋ ਗਈ। ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਹੈ ਇਹਦੇ ਅਰਥ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਜਿਸਦੀ ਅਵਸਥਾ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਇਹ ਅਰਥ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਉਸ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਉਹ ਅਰਥ ਦੇ ਸਮਝ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਤੇ ਜਿਉਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਆਤਮਿਕ ਤਰੱਕੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਜਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਤਿਉਂ ਇਹ ਭੇਦ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਸ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਖੁੱਲ੍ਹਦੇ ਜਾਣਗੇ ਕਿ ਫਿਰ ਅਰਥ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਸਮਝ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੀ ਪੈਂਦੇ। So just to repeat what I'm trying to do today is because today yesterday we had perhaps a bit more Sunday that was we could say from 9 months Sunday, so we have less today, so that's why I'm speaking Punjabi a bit more than I did yesterday. So, but I will try and sort of repeat the same thing in English as well. So, just the gist of what I've just said is that this particular hukamnama, to understand it, it's like a question and answer thing. So question and answer, there's a question being asked and there's an answer being given. So to understand this Gurdwara, we have to go to the question first, to then try and paint some sort of picture of what we are actually talking about here. Just like sometimes you may have seen a film. When you see a film, you see something going on in the beginning, something happens in the beginning, and that's it then, and then you don't understand it at that point, but then as the film goes along, it goes to a point where something they show will then relate to what was happening in the beginning, what you saw, then it all makes sense and you connect things together. Similarly, this Gurdwara is written in a way where we have to look at the cause of the Gurdwara first. So, why was this Gurdwara written? Now, this Gurdwara was written by Dev Ji, and although it starts off with so it starts with those lines. However, to understand it, we have to go to a line further down in the Gurdwara, and the line words Tu Punari. So the questions are being asked now. So this is a question that we're talking about. So this is a question and answer. So someone has asked a question. So Sadhguru Pasha Maharaj के पावन जो शब्द है, एक समझने लगी सब तो पहला पंक्ति केड़ी है वो पढ़नी पड़ेगी वो है तू पुनरी कौन है तू पुनरी who are you? And then the answer is given in the next line. Madi Nama Hoji. So Dev Ji has been asked that question, who are you? And then Dev Ji replies. He says, Madi, me, Madi Nama. My name is Nama Namdev Hoji. So my name is Namdev. My name is Nama. सवाल पूछा तुम बोल रहे कौन है? तो जवाब से तो नामदेव जी कहते मैं जी नमा हो जी मैं नमा जी. So that's the beginning. So that's the beginning. That's the start. And then they have to understand this. There have been, like I said, different various monarchs and various Katha have translated this, and some of them have a slight difference between them, and some explain it as the question has been asked by Vaheguru himself. This question, who are you, been asked by Vaheguru, and some other Kathavatics or some of the Mahaprabhus have explained it as that this question was asked by somebody that Dev Ji looked up to and always went to ask for guidance. When he became stuck in something, he always went and asked. And the person's name was Gyandev. So some Kathavas, like I said, have explained it as the question being asked by Vaheguru God himself, or others have explained it as somebody that Bhagavad looked up to, Gyandev. Now, for us at this point, that is not important. The important is the message from this Gurdwara. That's what's important to us. So this is what we're going to try and understand. And then Dev Ji then says, Tu punare Madi Nama Hoji. And then Dev Ji begins asking a question himself. So first he was asked the question, and then he replies, he tells his name, and then he says, Brahman Aaye Tumche Dwara. So what you find with this particular Gurdwara is we're going back and forth. So it's not like a traditional way of explaining Gurdwara where you start from the beginning and you go along. To understand this Gurdwara, we have to look at the whole of it, and then we have to keep sometimes going back and forth to understand it fully. So, tu gunare maji nama, then nama Bhagwan Devi then says, Brahm aaye tumche dwara, that I have come to you, and I have questions, and I have Brahm. Brahm is a doubt. Now, we can directly relate to this, that we have doubts as well. I have doubts. People have doubts about various things. Sometimes things don't make sense to us. But some people's beliefs are more stronger than others. They carry on believing in something until they find an answer for it. But they still have that doubt, but those doubts are dispelled one day. But then there are others whose faiths are not that strong. When they have a doubt, they quickly will dismiss and move along, rather than spend some time in finding out the answers. So what we can take away from this is that it's okay sometimes to have these doubts, because we all have these doubts. What's not okay is for us to then turn our back on them. Rather than find out the answers, ask someone or ask your guru yourself. What's not alright is for us to turn our back on Guruji and walk the other way. If you have doubts, you all have doubts. So I have come to you with doubts. I don't understand a few things, so perhaps maybe you can explain those things to me. And then Bhagavad gets a reply back saying, Tark naja prabhunaja. Tark naja. Tark. Sanskrit ji खास करके अजकल के माहौल में ये जरा लफ्ज़ है ना तर्क, ये बहुत ज़्यादा यदि कह लो कि हमारे लिए ज़्यादा महसूस होना चाहिए इस तरह तर्क, क्योंकि भगत नामदेव जी जब ये सवाल पूछ रहे हैं कि भ्रम जड़ा मेरे अंदर है वो मैं दूर करने नहीं आया, तुहानू पूछने नहीं आया। ते जवाब च सतगुरु पातशाह महाराज जवाब विच ये आख्या कि तर्क न चा, तर्क सब तो पहला तर्क छाड़, तर्क ना कर। धन श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी पातशाह महाराज की बाणी। मगर अजकल देखने च की आउंदा है कि श्रद्धा भावना जिहड़ी है वो घटदी जाती है ते तर्क जिहड़ी है ना वो वधदी जाती है। मगर धन श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी पातशाह महाराज जी की गुरबाणी वाल असीं जाइए, जिस तरह दास ने पहला भी आख्या कि हाँ कई बारी साडे दिमाग अंदर कोई डाउट जरूर आ जाता भी ये किस तरह हो सकता है, वो किस तरह हो सकता है, मगर यह मतलब ये नहीं कि वो चीज़ हो ही नहीं सकती जो मेरी समझ नहीं होती। जे मैं यूनिवर्सिटी पढ़न चले जावां, कोर्स मेरा हिस्ट्री का होवे ते मैं मैथमेटिक्स की डिग्री का लग पावां, मेरे पल्ले का ना पवे, मतलब ये नहीं कि वो डिग्री गलत होगी, मेरी समझ नहीं पई। क्योंकि गल की आजकल जी चीज़ साडी समझ नहीं ना पैंदी, असीं उहनूं कदम करके रख दिंदे आ भी हाँ ये हो नहीं सकती क्योंकि मेरी समझ नहीं पैंदी। जे मेरी समझ नहीं पई तो फिर गल होनी गलत है। नहीं होना की चाहिए है सिख मतलब सिख का मतलब यही है कि सिखा भाई जे मेरे मन च कोई इन्हां भरम पै भी गया भी मैं किसी गुरसिख किसी नाम अभ्यासी किसी रसी को जावां, सेवा भावना को जावां, मैं नुकसान बनाए या भरना है वो दूर करां, सानू बुलावां, अरदास करां, मगर नहीं हुंदा हुंदा कि असीं तक जरूर करते हैं कि हाँ ये तो हो सकता है, नहीं मगर नहीं। सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज ने विश्वास भरोसा रखना है। जे असीं साडी चीज़ साडे दिमाग को चीज़ समझ नहीं ना पैंदी ते पानी किहने है जिन्हें ये दिमाग बनाया किन्हें बनाया ने वाहिगुरू ने वाहिगुरू ने ते जे उन्हें चीज़ बनाई है जे इहनूं असीं जाके अरदास करांगे सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज ये चीज़ मैनूं समझाओ ते सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज ने श्रुति आ ये चीज़ जिहड़ी सानूं समझा देणगे जिहड़ी चीज़ साडी समझ नहीं मगर तर्क नहीं। सो सतगुरु जी पातशाह महाराज तर्क न चा, मगर भगत जी कहते भरमियां चा बई भरम जिहड़ा है हुण ते पै गया मतलब कि हुण ओह ते मैं दूर करना ही है किसी तरह बई जिहड़ा भरम पै चुका है मैं ओह दूर करने ते आया मैं तक नहीं मगर मेरे जिहड़ा भरम पै गया ओह सिक्ख्या लैनी सी बई किस तरह अपना भरम दूर करिए किस तरह विश्वास जिहड़ा ना ओह छड्डीदा नहीं सगों अपने साधु को जाके शंका में कराइया ना के शंका लैके आप भी टुटीदा है ते होना भी फिर जेडे जुड़े हुए उन्होंने भी शंका पा के उन्होंने भी टुटीदा नहीं उनका पाप ज्यादा बड़ा है रात टूटी गया जो किसी होर की शंका भी थोड़ी ना फिर पाप ज्यादा बड़ा है ते साधु की भाषा में कहते जिस तरह सानू सीखना चाहिए भी भगवान की फिर भी बड़ी निमरता जी आ गई की कहते हैं भी भरनिया जाओ फिर भरम पै गया मैं नवा कुछ मैं तुहाडे कोल अपना संकल्प करूंगा ते सवाल ये है फिर साधु की भाषा महाराज ये पावन बाणी ते नाल साधु जी फिर पुछदे ने भगत रामदेव जी ने asked so Bhakt Ramdev has been told that you shouldn't doubt you shouldn't have that doubtful thinking but unfortunately we have these doubts like I said there is nothing wrong with having doubts. We're all humans. We all have these doubts. But like I said, our duty is to go and ask someone, to go and ask somebody who's on a spiritual path, to go and ask and do a last consequence. So, Bhakt Ramdev says, I have this problem, and only you can answer it. And then Bhagavad says, Agate Nivarana Jamkarana. How will, that's the first question. So how will I be liberated from this world? Agate Nivarana Jamkarana. This world who has become the very cause of Jam. This world which has become the very existence of the jams are the angels of death. And then once we live our lives there, then if we have not done Simran and Seva in our lives, then when our soul leaves, then rather than this soul being welcomed into the court of Vaheguru and into the feet of the Gurmat Maharaj, this soul will then be taken away by the angels of death, by the jams. And then we will be doubting accordingly. So Bhagavad is saying, how can I make sure that this doesn't happen to me? How can I be liberated? Allah te nivarana jamkarana. This world, this Allah, you can also explain it as a place where the cycle of birth and death is continuous, and you've been stuck in that cycle for nobody knows for how long. So God is asking, how will I make sure that I break out of this? So that's the first question, you could say. And then the next question was how, first of all, to understand how to get out of this cycle of birth and death and what has been created before us, the world. We have to understand how the world has been created. So, Bhakt Ramdev Ji then asked that question. Well, the question was, from Vaheguru himself, what did he create first? What did he create after coming into existence? What did Vaheguru create first? So, first of all, now, like I said before, to really understand this Dhamma, you really have to have a high level of spirituality and to be able to comprehend what this Gurdwara is saying, he's talking about. Because on a worldly level, the way we can explain this is only as that God first created this forest, Punrak. And Punrak is where you have the full of Gobble full. So a forest of Gobble full. Now, Gobble is lotus. Created a forest, or you could say a garden of Gobble. Now, I must stress this point here that sometimes we are not to take things too literally, because like I said, for us to understand this, we have to do a bit more Sikh. We have to do a bit more Sikh to really be able to understand what is actually meant by Buddha. But is talking about creation. Tante Hansa Sagre. So, also this can be explained as, just like we read in Japji Sahib, Ek Sansari, Ek Mandari, Ek Laidi, Diwan. So, this is how the world works. There's a creator, and then there's a sustainer, and then there's a destroyer. And those powers who do the creating bit, and those powers who do the sustaining bit, and those powers who do the destroying bit have been given names. And sometimes those names have been given as Brahman and Vishnu, Mahesh. So those few words that can be used sometimes to explain those entities, those powers. And those were created, those powers, the powers who have created the planets, who created this world, created this earth, because the powers working behind this was created first, and then the sustainer was created, who sustains, just like if we go deep into the sustaining bit, you might say the fact that we have vegetation and we have water, we have air and things like that, and that keep us alive, so sustains us our life. So you could explain it as that. So Sanskrit Bhasha when God said Tante Hansa Sagre, that was created. So Brahma, Hansa here, the word Hansa here means Brahma. So why he created Brahma, Hansa, then Sanskrit Bhasha created the whole world, the whole creation, the whole beings that we see before us, and they were created. Krishna te janavu har har nachanti nachana. Then Krishna meaning Maya. Yeah. And the Maya was created. Maya is an illusion of what we see before us. Now, sometimes it's really hard to comprehend these words and try and understand that what is Maya. Maya is everything that takes us away from Vaigu. Maya is everything that takes us away from God. That's what we call Maya. And God created Maya. And Maya Maya comes in all shapes and sizes and all types of forms. Maya comes in as beauty. So Maya comes in as money. Maya comes in as power, as wealth. It has different forms that it takes. So Vaigu then created this fantastic thing called Maya. And it is that thing, Maya, that keeps us so busy and occupied within itself that we actually forget to say Vaigu, that we actually forget to do some art. How many times that, so we probably have said, oh, I like to do Japji Sahib in the morning, but I don't have time to do it. I would like to, do an ASA in the evening, but I work late. I like to, but I can't do it. Why? Because we are at that point of being enticed, and we're engrossed in Maya, so much so that we can't even spare 10 minutes from our lives. 10 minutes. What is 10 minutes? Sometimes we spend more than 10 minutes just while waiting at a bus station to catch a bus. But at the same time, we find it difficult to sit down for 5 minutes and 10 minutes and say, but we can waste our life away. Why? Because Maya is there. And Maya is that illusion. Just like, when you go and see a magic show, magicians are not, real, they have tricks. They create an illusion. They create such an illusion that you are so engrossed in what's going on, but you fail to see what the magician's actually doing, how he's doing the trick, all the tricks behind the illusion that's going on because we are so engrossed in what's going on. Similarly, this world has been created in such a way that we're so busy in watching this whole show, and it's a fantastic show that goes on. Our life is basically a show, a live show that we enjoy so much, and we enjoy so much taking part that it's so hard for us to break away from it and realize the reality that lies behind it. So this Maya has been created. So that Maya was created. Krishna Jano Naharna Janti Namna. And the Maya is dancing the dance. Analogy here. Now, this dance, like I said, is a bit enticing. And it's such a beautiful dance that you can't help but look and stare and get engrossed in it. Nachandi, Nachnaden. Perhaps Ushabra Aton Ushadaba. That's the next line. Then, but now he said, but how did Maya just come about like that? How did Maya just appear? Why did God want to make Maya? Why? The question was there. And then the answer was that Vaheguru is Ik, but he wanted to have a name Suru. Now again, it might be difficult to comprehend and understand, and like I said, it's okay if you don't understand because we have not got to that level yet. Where a guidebook then wanted to create a play as such. Just like the University Bhai saying, Dasa Dekhayo Jagat Tamasa. The University Bhai saying that I have come to see this wonderful play, Jagat Tamasa. It's a wonderful play. So God wanted to create this playful thing, this fantastic thing, this fantastic game, this fantastic play. And that's why God created Maya. So God wanted to be from egg to an egg. Just like the University Bhai explains the other way around. An egg is looking at the Maya and is looking at the whole of creation and everything, all the universe, all the universes, and looks at that and sees a God of the Vaheguru in every single atom, but realizing that all of those atoms, everything that he sees before him, is only one God within it all. And he says, an egg but there is only one common thing between all those, and that's Vaheguru himself. So what did Vaheguru do in the first place? He became an egg, he became many, took many forms, became many from one. So, Sadhguru Paisa Maharaj Bani, Pahal Ursa Bira, Athon Ursa Dabra. So, he became from one, he wanted to create this play, and that's how Maya came into existence. Next line is Asga, Usga, Harka Bhaka. Now, then we have to understand how Maya works as well, how this works. Now, what God did, Maya has his own qualities. See, the thing is, Vaheguru has given us help. He's given us a helping hand in everything. So whereas Maya is there to take your focus away from it all, at the same time, within this Maya, God decided to be within this Maya as well, so that you could find Him. He's everywhere. Why is everywhere? So all the qualities that Maya has, which is basically to cause pain and suffering, really, because without us reaching Vaheguru, we can never be truly happy in our lives. And if you really want to be truly happy within your life, then you have to have Vaheguru in your life. You have to become Vaheguru. You have to become a part of Vaheguru yourself. Only then you can be truly happy. But the Maya has a quality to do the opposite. So all the opposite things to Vaheguru, Maya has those qualities. But what Vaheguru did is to help us. He became a part of that whole creation of Maya himself, so you could find Vaheguru within that Maya. And it's a concept, like I said, this particular one, when I first read it this morning, I was thinking, whoa, I've got my work cut out for the rest of the day, because there's a lot here, and it's really difficult to understand. So I'll do my best, so please forgive me if you think I'm making a mess of things, but I'm doing my best. So, Natya Bindi Mene Saga. So the word dance has come before and has come again. And you probably have not seen this. Bindi is basically in the villages in Punjab. You don't sort of see that very often these days, but what they used to have was kirtan. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੀ ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੇਖੀਆਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਟੰਡਾਂ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ, ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਖੂਹ ਚੋਂ ਪਾਣੀ ਕੱਢਦੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਖੇਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਲਾਇਆ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿਆਰੀ ਕਿਦਾ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ ਵੀ ਪਾਣੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਖੇਤਾਂ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚਦੀਆਂ. So the villages used to have a system where they used to have tanda. Tanda is basically they worked out a system how to get water out of wells continuously, so that they all feed the fields continuously. So what they used to do was make a round sort of a wheel, and what they used to attach to each wheel, to the wheel was, you could say, a little jug type thing, or a little, to explain it, if the energy, just something that would collect some water. So, and what they used to do was they used to lower it down into the well, and then they used to attach. Sometimes they used to do manually, or they used to attach a cow to the mechanism, so the cow used to walk around the well, and then the way that the dinner used to work was go in a cycle and go down the well, collect the water, come out, and as it's being filled with water, it's going out again, it spills that water, and then the water is then channeled away, and then it's being channeled to the fields, and that's how they used to water the fields, and that's what the system is. The Bindi. Satpuri Bhasha Natya Bindi mein Saga. It's like an analogy, like a dance. It's like a cycle. Just like you have a cycle of birth and death, it's the same thing. It's a cycle going on again. So it starts off empty, it goes down, it gets filled with water, comes up, then the water is released and it's empty again until it goes down and the water is filled again, and it keeps going on in a circle, and it's like a dance of birth and death. This is how the situation is explained here. So, Guru Maharaj is saying, just like that, we are dancing that dance of death, birth and death. Just like how the dances within the body and it comes out as empty again, we are the same. We are born, and our soul will go into our body, and then one day it will leave this body will become empty, and then it will go into a next body, reincarnated again, on and on again, and then that dance has been created, it's been doing that dance for years. Nanjanti Gopi Jannah. there's a Tipri. So, Nachati Gopi Jannah. So, Sadhguru Pashamara is saying that within it, that the men and women, they all dance this dance as well. The whole dance of creation. And also, it has been explained as that our indriya, our senses, are also dancing that dance as well. And because of those senses, we are able to enjoy Maya. Because of those senses, these eyes, we've been given these eyes, they're called indriya, Gyan indriya. So Gyan indriya is to use these senses to learn and to see and to feel and taste. So Guru Pasha Maharaj is saying that these Nachati Gopi Jannah. So in a sense that these indriya as well. So whereas that word can also be explained as women, but this word can also be used to explain that our senses are dancing as well, that dance. Wonderful things to see, to smell, to taste, to hear. There's a lot of things going on, and there's a dance going on. But having said that, none of this will exist. None of this exists without the light jewel of Akal within it. None of this is possible without Vaheguru. The only reason why the world goes around, the only reason why you and me can see and hear and feel things is because all of us, things around us, the whole universe, is dancing that dance, but at the same time, Vaheguru is contained within everything. Nothing will exist, nothing can move without the existence of Vaheguru within it. So Sadhguru Pasha Maharaj is within everything that you see and do. So, and then he goes back to Tarikanaja, Prabniyaja. So do not have any doubts, because everything that happens according to the will of God, happens according to the will of Vaheguru. So the question that was answered, how can I be saved from this? And then the answer comes, when we go into the sanctuary of Kesava. Who's Kesava? Kesava kaun? Kesava Vaheguru Paramatma. So Kesava here, name of Vaheguru, name of God. A God who has case, the great case. When we go to the sanctuary of such Vaheguru, of God, only then, when we go, so when you go into the heart, into the Sharan, into the sanctuary of that true Lord, true Vaheguru, and who is that for us? There is no difference between Guru Granth Sahib and there is no difference between God and Vaheguru himself. And once we become the Sikhs of Guru Granth Sahib Maharaj, once we become the Sikhs of Guru Gobind Singh, of Guru Nanak Dev Maharaj, then we come into the sanctuary of only then we can be saved. We can only be saved through the true Guru at this point in our lives. In this day and age is of Kaljug, and there's no one else who can save us but Guru Granth Sahib Maharaj, and only when we become his Sikhs. So the essence of all of it, if you like, is that God has created everything, and He's created Maya. And it is there for us to, just like, these eyes, when we see scenery, we see beautiful things that the Bible has created. Sometimes if we go to the beach, perhaps. Sometimes if you go see mountains, perhaps. Just, creation of God. What He's created some magnificent things, and we can appreciate it. and we see it. And then we should be thankful that you're able to do that. And then also try and find and get close to the person who has created those wonderful things. Because that same person who has created those things has created you as well. And your purpose in life is to find that person and then merge yourself into valuing yourself so that you can forever and ever enjoy those things. Always enjoy those things. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is if we make a commitment. And the commitment is to go into the shadow of those who will say, now, like I said in the beginning, I was, when I first had a look at this book, I was, thinking perhaps I should, not do the Katha book today, because it is one of the most difficult ones to understand. And so I've spent all day on it today, and I'm still, there's some things that I would like to go back and research more into. But that's the beauty of God. That's the beauty of Bible. What enjoyment would it be if we just understood everything? Life would become really boring. It's that thing within us to go and explore and find out. This is what makes this life worth living. And similarly, it works for your spirituality as well. So what we try and find, that's all part of the journey, all part of the adventure. So we'll never know everything, we'll never know the limits of God, but it's the journey, like we say. You learn so many things and you enjoy those times. So I've probably made so many mistakes, and I know I've made so many mistakes. I've probably done wrong translations or whatever. But I ask for forgiveness, and I ask you, the Sasana, for forgiveness as well, and I ask for your blessings that it gives me money, it gives me suji, so that I'm able to share more things with you. So if I have said anything, or if I've said anything to offend anyone, to upset anyone, then please forgive me, and so pray for me and say, give me some more sense so that I know how to speak properly and so on. So I ask for everyone's forgiveness. I'm just going to repeat the last few lines, and then we're going to do samadhi, and then it's another part, and then so if we could all concentrate. And then translate the message भाषा महाराज सतगुरु भाषा महाराज कृपा करें आओ शब्दियाँ दुनिया कीरियाँ का पढ़ के उसके बाद श्री नाम शब्द पाठ करके समाप्त करिए जी सतनाम